Good morning, friends. Hello. Glad you're here today. It's a good day. Little mug up, little goodness, little joy, little Christmas cheer. It's the day of Christmas cheer, for sure. You're having a glorious day today. Hey, John and Jane. Hello. If you have not had a chance to get through, I see John and Jane are on John's page about his book about running the Cog Railroad up in New Hampshire. If you go look for it, it's great. Go check out his page. It's an amazing story. He was a engineer on the Cog Railroad, still is, I think, engineer on the Cog Railroad. Um, it's a thing to do. Um, if you don't know about it, go check it out. It's really cool. So I was. Good morning, Karen. Hope you're having a great day. It's a good morning. Hey, Linda. Good morning. I don't. If you're with Don and Dottie this morning, good morning to the. Good morning as well. Hello, everybody. It's a great read. Yes, I really no, very very real, very true. So, and so hope you're well. Good morning, everybody. All right, dipping chocolates. Oh, I'll be right over. That's fantastic, Karen. That says Christmas to me right there. That's great. Okay, good morning, everybody. It is the 15th day, the Ides of December. It is the 15th day on this Thursday, when on at 11:11, and I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're a part of this journey. Uh, so this morning, I stopped and got donuts this morning. I don't do this very often, but I stopped and got donuts this morning for the church because I knew this was going to be a morning. You see, Sunday we filled 42 stockings for St. Vincent's home, or for the Deaconess home, rather, that kids who don't have a place and don't have people to come and journey with them in this season. We got to do that. So we filled 42 stockings this on Sunday, and our incredible missions chair Deb Votrin has taken them out into the and they're going to find their way to those kids. At the same time, we have a pajami project with St. Vincent's Home, another group of kids who don't have a whole lot of people looking out for them in this time. We have our folks right now that are out there shopping for PJs for those kids to St. Vincent's Home. And that's happening this week, and they'll come back to us on Sunday. Uh, but the reason and part of that is that's kind of a foretaste of the reason I stopped and got donuts this morning is because we began really in earnest, although we started last week, really in earnest to partner with our friends at the United Way of Greater Fall River with the coat drive. They come and they do coat collection all over the region, and they come and sort coats here in our gym, and we're able to create a great partnership in being able to. And meanwhile, some of our folks came and volunteered to help sort coats. Also, across the street is what is known as Resiliency Preparatory School. So it is filled. It's got middle school kids that need a little extra help in order to and have kind of found their way there, and they came over and volunteered to help sort coats. So you have the United Way folks and some of their volunteers, our volunteers at church, and a bunch of middle schoolers sorting coats and making things happen this morning. So I came and checked some of that out. Then, so I wanted donuts for that. But we also this morning have what we call the Deacons Project, and the Deacons Project has, I think it's well over 70 or 80 toys for children that are in the social service thing, that they're in foster care, they're being cared for by someone else other than their parental home, and that they are kids often in crisis that need somebody to care and to love for them. And we bought our deacons, and they're running this project about over 70 toys. And so the DSS workers showed up today to take those. And so while we were scrambling around getting coats, we were going to run up to the sanctuary and help load up all of those toys. Just at the end, while that's happening, literally our friends from the Veterans Kitchen rolled up to the church picking up soup. We help one of the incredible gifts of Fall River is the Blunt Soup Company. So if you don't know Blunt Soup, it's fantastic soup, and they do a great job. But they also give away an incredible amount of soup to the city and help people at the margins. We're one of the distribution points for that. Again, one of the great endeavors of our missions chair, Deb Votrin, so they show up in order to pick up some soup for the veterans lunch. So our friends Dawn and others who provide a luncheon on Wednesdays for vets that are in the city that might be at the margins, and they do a great job. But part of it is we help supply some soup and some resources for them as well. This was the morning, so I thought we might need donuts. This, friends, is the power of the church. It's not simply that we do good things. It's not simply that we help out, but this is the power of what it is to express love and service to the world. This is the church being the church. There's First Peter is Peter's first letter he's trying to instill this into the early church. He's trying to say, how are we to be together? How are we to do this thing? How are we to what and why would we do it? And what is it that we're trying to do? And it's from the fourth chapter of Peter's little letter to his community. He says and this is from a translation, kind of a loose translation. So I love it because I think it brings to light something a little more beautiful in this. So hear this. This is, everything in the world is about to be wrapped up. So take nothing for granted. Stay wide awake in prayer. Most of all, love each other as if your life depended upon it. Love makes up for practically anything. Be quick to give a meal to the hungry, a bed to the homeless, cheerfully. Be generous with the different things God gave you, passing them around so that all can get in on it. If words, let it be God's word. If help, let it be God's hearty help. That way, God's bright presence will be evident in everything through Jesus, and he'll get all the credit as the one mighty in everything. Encores to the end of time. Oh yeah. These words that Peter are putting out to his young little community that's trying to hang on to the edges of what it is to follow this Jesus guy, come back to us 2,000 years later, and we hear them alive in the working of the church today and what we did this morning. This isn't about us, we're so great and we're so awesome because we love the world and we're so holy and we're so pure. It is none of that. As John's first letter says, we love because we're first loved. We have the chance, we have the opportunity to understand that everything in this life is going to be wrapped up soon. This life is a quick ride. We're not here for long. As I like to say, because it kind of scandalizes people sometimes, we're not here for a long time, so we ought to be here for a good time. People think I say that sometimes, and people kind of look at me funny because they think it's kind of this invitation to hedonism or invitation to. But no, I actually think if that's true, and it's this invitation to joy. It's this invitation to service, to pouring ourselves out like a libation, because that's where joy really is. That's where joy really lives. That's where the wonder of what it is, and that's why. That this invitation to love each other as if your life depended on it, not because as if, but because it does. And it's so fun sometimes to be a pastor on a day like today, when the church is humming. You have 3 different things going on, left and right and center, and that as a result of what's happened, people out there are being touched, and they're touched not because Pastor Stinson is so great and so awesome, or that any of us are so particularly holy, but it is great because we get to offer up some of what is God's to the whole wide world. That if it's a word, it gets to be God's word because it's holy and it's good. It gets to be an encouragement. I heard today one of the people with the middle schoolers, and these middle schoolers are, they've seen something in life, and they can be a little jaded, and they can be a little edgy, and said, hey, thank you for, and one of our volunteers was saying, like, thank you for being here and helping out, because somebody's going to be warm as a result of your efforts. And he says, and the response was, in kind of cool teenage sort of way, like, well, I hope so, and they were. I loved what they said because they were so prescient, so on point. It says, oh, no, we know so. These bags are going to get loaded into a car, and they're going to go to a place, and there are already people waiting for them. And those people are already, there's somebody that's going to be warm today with the weather that's coming tomorrow. Somebody's going to endure that weather better because of your efforts today. That was transmitted to a middle schooler, a jaded, angry little guy, like we all kind of were at some point, I suppose. But that it was communicated. That wasn't their word because they were so smart. That was God's word. The warmth and the beauty that goes out through the incredible efforts of the United Way, and that we just get to participate in is not because the United Way is so great, although they are. That is God's effort going out into the world. That is God's help touching them. As much as a coat might bundle somebody up in warmth, the hope that comes with that coat of someone knowing that there's another human being out there in the world that cared enough about them, not just send the coat to the shredder and get rid of it that they were losing, but to go through this whole ordeal and nut roll of collecting coats and distributing coats. They may know they are not forgotten. That it's not just dealers in BTU conservation in the midst of coldness. We are dealers in hope, and that is God's hearty help, as the translation loves to put it. And in that, Christ gets the credit. The really real gets the credit. The wonder and the beauty of the world gets the credit. The word gets the credit. The logos gets the credit. Call it whatever you want. Call it whatever however you want to name it. Incredible things happened this morning at this little spot on the planet at 282 Rock Street. The great St. Francis de Sales, one of the greatest servants that ever was, he said it this way. He said there's nothing small in the service of God. And even though we handed out some used coats, we gave a little soup away, we We had gave away a few Encanto dolls this morning. None of that was small or little or minor, because the entire effort of it was the effort of the rejection of the pain and the horror and the smallness and the brokenness and the viciousness and the power struggles of the world, to the great and most beautiful and most wondrous rebellion that's ever been, the rebellion of love that came through Christ. If you really want to understand that as really this 2,000-year legacy, there's an incredible book called, I'm not one to always quote books, but this one is really exceptional. It's called Dominion, How the Christian Revolution Remade the World. It's by a guy by the name of Tom Holland. Now, Tom Holland is not a man of faith. He considers himself an atheist, but he's an incredible writer, an incredible historian, and he maps how Christianity changes the world over 2,000 years. It's a incredible endeavor, but he cannot, and it is impossible to look at it's wildly imperfect, but the imperfection of the Christian endeavor over 2,000 years and how it has radically transformed what we understand to be the human experience prior to Christ coming into this world and death and resurrection, prior to the envisioning and exciting of 11 disappointed men hiding in a room upstairs who would come to hear that death has been overcome, and the way that changed the planet. But he says it this way, and we as the when he gets to the section on the Puritans, and I love this because I hope you'll follow me through this, because I think it's a beautiful point. And he says this, he says, the Puritans then, even as they rejected the old and familiar, could not entirely deny a lurking paradox, that their rejection of tradition was itself a Christian tradition. We wonder about Christmas time and about why aren't we like this all the time, right? Why isn't the Christmas spirit that descends upon the world, the generosity, the warmth, the giving, why isn't that our default state? Why aren't we like that all the time? And I would submit it is because this is the rejection of the tradition of the world's, make sure I get mine, the world's self-centeredness, the world's concentration on power and control, the world's concentration on stuff and its control, that the rejection of that tradition is the Christian tradition. And that when we come and celebrate Christmas, we're just bringing the world to a line within the tradition itself. We're just kind of as if a planet comes a little too close to the sun, and it's being sucked into the warmth of Christ itself. That's what's happening to the world in the midst of Christmas. Everything in the world is about to be wrapped up. Think about that. Everything in our world is about to be wrapped up. So take nothing for granted. Love each other as if your life depended on it, because it does. I just wanted to share with you the morning here at First Congregational Church, and what it is, a joy to be the pastor of this place, and what it is to be a part of this grand tradition, but also to encourage you to be a part, to let your words be God's words in this season, to let your help be God's hearty help, to burn brightly and dare to burn brightly in these times, knowing that at the end of the day, it's really about letting Christ shine through us and in us and in our lives, where we get to be the recipients of grand and beautiful joy. So that is why I stopped and got donuts this morning. And I hope maybe if you find yourself with a small sweetness, maybe if you find yourself dipping chocolates, that you will know that sweetness, not just as the one that touches your lips, but as a sign and a symbol of one that feeds and enlightens the whole world in the sweetness that Christ has brought us. All right, friends, that's my hope for you today. We have a great few days set up. Tomorrow is it's our Christmas caroling event. So at noontime tomorrow, the great and beautiful instrument that is our Aeolian Skinner organ is going to come alive to sing Christmas carols. I hope you'll be a part of it. I hope you'll come out and raise your voice. It's going to be great. We have Fourth Advent. We're continuing our sermon series on of Christ's glory in this world and the glory that comes to dwell with us. And that will be Sunday. We have the sacrament of baptism. I hope you'll find some beauty and some wonder in these days, as we move towards Bethlehem and move towards Christmas. All right, my friends, we'll pick it up next week with another 11:11. Peace and grace to you all.